Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a good day wherever you're watching from. Today I am headed to a meeting in a nearby city, about an hour away. It's a bit gloomy out, with a hint of winter air still lingering around. I don't know how long it'll stay on the cooler side, but it's nice to get glimpses of spring around. Flowers are starting to pop up. There's some green grass where I forgot grass would be growing, and there are much more people outside. Not to mention a lot more drivers on the roads as well. Since I'm doing a bit of driving, I thought this is a nice time to talk about your own drive. The motivation and drive to push towards your goals wherever you're headed. Finding motivation. Especially when you're unmotivated and maybe in a bit of a slump. It isn't uncommon to feel uninspired when you're on your own creative mission. You could be working for yourself or taking on a big task at your job, or you could be working on a fun art project with your friends. You have something in mind to bring into the world, but you just don't feel driven enough to get there. At least, maybe not right now. As a full-time wedding videographer, I notice this comes in cycles for me. Like the changing of seasons, I think my line of work is very much influenced by the time of year. The amount of energy in the air. As I'm recording this, I'm in a bit of a transitioning season right now, between getting backend edits done, while at the same time planning for the upcoming shooting season of the summer. For me, and maybe for you, this shift in attention brings on an added workload. The actual tasks, like for me editing videos and playing out some schedules, may not seem like a lot in themselves, but the very act of changing hats is draining in itself. Going from one major task to thinking about the next major task is overwhelming, to say the least. I really think it's this overwhelm that hits me the most, and I have a feeling it gets to all of us. The anxiety of taking on more work, it's an endless cycle of doing more and more and more. This is why I personally get unmotivated. Drained, exhausted, tired, and sometimes the feeling of pointlessness. Thinking back on this, it's a very nihilistic way to go through the cycles of the work here. Like, what is the point of doing all this? When we step too far back from our work, when we see our entire year's schedule, the adrenaline gets to us. We experience the sense of asking ourselves, what on earth do we do now? And in the chemical balance within our body, this manifests itself in the ideas of fight, flight, or freeze. Ideally, as someone who has goals to reach, you probably don't want to feel any of this. You want to securely take on the tasks in front of you at a mature and level-headed pace of focus. Not feeling like you need to fight your way out of this. Not feeling like you need to fly away. And not feeling like you're frozen. No fight, flight, or freeze. But then again, maybe you do feel this way. That's what I feel right now. And maybe you feel this too. Fight, flight, freeze. If you're familiar with the attachment styles in relationships, maybe you can draw some comparisons with this fight, flight, freeze and the 4 attachment styles. The 4 attachment styles in the relationships you have with people are arguably also in the relationships you have with yourself as someone on a mission. But within the context of this video, talking about motivation, I want to talk about attaching to our work with a feeling of avoidance or anxiousness. Flying away is much like avoiding, and anxiousness is much like fighting the idea of completing this task altogether. Now, where you want to be is secure. Secure in your state of feeling motivated. You want a good relationship with the experience of feeling motivation. feeling inspired, feeling the drive and ambition to go after whatever it is you're trying to work towards. So, how do we get there? How do we feel secure in our relationships with our work? I can't say I'm a professional when it comes to the psychotherapy side of feeling secure, but what I can say is what I've experienced around this in my own life. And for me, I think the solution to getting motivated and feeling secure in your ability to get things done is this: action. The solution to feeling unmotivated and getting yourself back into a state of motivation is taking action, one step at a time. I know this may seem as a cop-out answer, like, oh, get motivated to do something by doing something, but I'm not saying to do everything. You don't need to complete whatever it is you know you need to complete. You just need to do one small thing. I understand your energy may not be there, and that is totally normal. Use these days for yourself. Maybe take a break from whatever diet you might have put on yourself. Have that ice cream or burger, let yourself loose, and use the day to relax outside, or take a stroll down the street and watch a movie in the movie theater by yourself. I really like getting lost in bookstores or music stores. I could spend hours or whole days wandering the shelves, looking at random book covers that draw my eyes, or if I was in a music store, I'd try to play whatever instrument I could get my hands on. Instead of trying to influence and create your world, let the world influence you for a little bit during these times. But when you know you want to slowly get back to a place of creation, a place where you want to be able to impart yourself in the world, you can start slowly. When you want to get motivated, don't ask for too much. Set the bar low, and the act of doing something small will help you feel secure enough to know you can do more when you are ready. To put it in a nutshell, do one tiny thing a day. If you're in a slump and your backlog of videos to edit, do something you know you can do within 20 minutes. For me, this is organizing my footage, or synchronizing the ceremony footage, or laying out the speeches on the timeline. As well, when I was writing my book, I set my daily word count so low that I knew I could do it. 250 words a day. That's it. That's all I needed to write, and I knew I could do it within 20 minutes without overthinking it. Maybe for you, it's replying to that one email. That's it for the day. Or maybe going to the gym for 20 minutes, or getting on that Zoom meeting for 20 minutes. When you're unmotivated, just do that one small thing. Security in yourself. Security in knowing you can take care of yourself. Don't forget that. Think about all the things you've accomplished over the past few years. You probably didn't predict all of it, but you did it. You made it here without knowing for certain that you could. The difference between now and 3 years ago is that you now know you could do it. So who's to say you won't do the same and more in the next 3 years? Now the only thing to do is approach it one step at a time. Start slow and the slump will slowly disappear. Let your spirit and body guide you while your overthinking mind takes the backseat. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this video is reaching you at the right time and that this message resonates with anything you might be going through. Just remember that with the changing seasons comes the need to accept change in yourself. You will make it there. Once again, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you all in the next video.